Hey YouTube, this is Pooja, and if you haven't watched my channel, I am an author. In today's video, I planned my first Barnes& Noble book signing event. I'm kind of nervous because I have done book events in the past before. I'm a little nervous because I'm scared that people won't show up. It's just very hard to get people to come in nowadays, and I did promote it a couple of times and followed up with people to show up, but it's just usually like in general when it comes to like getting people on board with things, especially if it's free, it's usually like if, let's say, for example, 100 people say yes, like you're generally expecting like 30%. I'm gonna document parts of my journey, but I am excited to have like one event to just like experience what it's like to do a Barnes& and Noble event and what it's like to work with these people. And I'm just going to document my experience and then try to figure out like what I'm going to do in the future. I also this whole month is kind of packed. So for October, it's not just this Barnes& and Noble event. I have another Barnes& and Noble event at the end of October, as well as I got accepted in a book festival, which is kind of crazy to think about because I earlier this year I just did it by random. I found it on an Instagram ad about this book festival. In the second week of September, I officially got accepted. Usually a lot of book festivals provide a vendor fee, but this book festival did not, and the only thing that I had to pay for was my room and board, so my transportation and hotel costs. So for me, I thought it was worth the cost to go there and just to see what other people are doing, especially now because my book is a Halloween poetry book. This is the time to promote it heavily, and I just wanted to see what it's like to be in a book festival. First, if you still, again, like if this is the first time you're viewing my channel, I published this book. It's called The Haunted Wardrobe. It's 31 poems dealing with haunted stories. Usually, when people read this book, they think of reading it alongside a campfire. It's like geared for people in middle school and above, and I tried to make it light. There are some like more in depth topics, but I tried to make it light overall. I'm really excited about this poetry book. When I first started creating this book, I research heavily on what is the standard and what is the process for creating a book and marketing a book. And I knew that poetry in itself is not generally what people buy. I've noticed that the people who buy it, not all of them are poetry readers. They're going back into poetry, but they still resonated with a lot of the topics. So whoever finds their hands on this book, I hope that it will resonate with them. They can relate to it. They can share it with their friends or kids. But I'm really excited and nervous to do the book signing event. I actually changed my sweater, trying to get into the mood of Halloween. So this one is like completely dedicated to Halloween. I think it says ghouls Ghouls just want to have fun. I think I got it from Urban Outfitters a long time ago. And I always wear this whenever I want to be in like the Halloween festive mood. So for Barnes& and Nobles, they told me to get around like 20 books. So I have a huge stack here, and I have some already in my book bag. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. It's honestly like I published my book a year ago, and it's still hard to believe that this is mine. I own this. It's kind of crazy to believe. I am ready to go. I'm going to go a little bit early. The Barnes& and Noble, where I have my first book signing event of this year, is I'm just going to go there early and just get settled in before we start doing the event. So today was pretty eventful day. Going into this day, I know I didn't have a lot of shots taken. I am getting used to filming in public, so I'm a little scared of doing it. So maybe in the future videos, I'll definitely start sharing more clips outside. I was very skeptical of this first book event, mostly because last year I did a book event and I wanted to do it at an indie bookstore, and I had a lot of people interested, and I think around 5 people showed up. I had the event start from like 5 and go to like 7 until like an hour and a half. That's when people started to show up. And I didn't realize that at the time people have 9 to 5 jobs. They're still at work and they still have to drive over into the city to then watch what I have. So it was a lot of awkwardness because the main goal of this indie bookstore is for them to also get business. So I just felt so bad that I picked this time. But I guess it's a lesson learned for future events. So I was very skeptical that I was going to get a book sold at a Barnes & Noble, but I actually had a pretty good success. So I brought in 20 books and I sold 15 of them. And it's crazy because majority of the people I didn't even know. They just came and they were interested in the book and they bought the book. One thing is, especially if you are an author or interested in being an author, and if you've researched on how to market a book, it feels kind of like an enigma at times. What I've learned from marketing a book is a lot of people will say a lot of things, but only until you do something will you know the result. So when I started researching, a lot of people tend to market their book on Amazon. So tailoring and making it optimized for Amazon. And it's not bad advice. However, for me, I've researched the genre that I had, and I also researched the amount of money that people are putting into ads, tailoring their message on Amazon. And I just wanted to take a different route because I made my purchasing costs very lean. It wasn't cheap, but it was very lean compared to other people in my same position. And I think my goal was just to break even. So for me, I'm just doing an experiment for this month and trying to see if book signing events work for my book. I also think that what resulted to this is it was in the month of October and my book is a Halloween poetry book. So this is the time to market the book. And I ended up getting a really good result from that. But one thing I think I just want to emphasize, like one takeaway is just experiment and see what happens. And for me, for Barnes & Noble, it was a good experiment because it was a 60% I got commission, 40% Barnes & Noble got commission. There was no upfront cost, so it wasn't a gamble, or it wasn't that big of a gamble to do, because what's the worst case scenario? My time. That's fine. Like I'm okay with sitting for an hour and selling no books. I mean, I'm not like, I'll be upset if I don't sell a book, but it's not the end of the world. I can still like film a YouTube video of me not selling a book and like telling you guys about my experience about not selling a book. So it's more of like, how can I turn this into a positive? How can I utilize that time into something else? That was my mindset on it. I had a good result, and I was kind of scared for a moment that I was going to sell all the books because I have another event the next week. So I was scared that I wouldn't have enough books to then sell it for the next week. But that's all I have for this video. I will be taking you guys on different tours or different events, book events that I will be doing in October. Want to keep you, but I will see you in the next video.